Welcome to the world of Wartonno.
Picture this. You're sitting in a crowded cafe. There may be 50 people around you, yet nobody's actually talking.
Just absolute silence.
Right. Everyone is staring at a glowing rectangle, letting, a bespoke algorithm feed them this perfectly personalized reality. And meanwhile, an artificial intelligence is silently drafting their afternoon emails.
It's kind of terrifying when you put it like that.
It is. And if you think I'm describing William Gibson's dystopian 1984 novel, Neuromancer, I'm actually not. I'm just describing your typical Tuesday morning.
Yeah, it is uncanny how quickly the hallucinatory fiction of the past has just become our completely mundane present.
Totally. Well, welcome to today's deep dive. We are turning the telescope of science fiction around and pointing it right back at our own, digital exhaustion.
Which I think we all feel right now.
Oh, definitely. Mm-hmm. Today, we are exploring the massive, undeniable cultural resurgence of the cyberpunk genre. We've got a stack of sources ranging from Hollywood trade details to this incredible essay by a sound artist named Wartonno.
Such a good piece.
Right? So our mission today is to unpack the highly anticipated Apple TV Plus mega series Neuromancer. And then we're going to pair that visual spectacle with a deeply psychological underground music scene known as cyberpunk ambient.
Because, watching a digital dystopia on a screen is one thing. But understanding what that exact dystopia actually sounds like when you finally close your laptop, that's where things get really fascinating.
Okay, let's unpack this. And don't worry, we're not going to bog you down in a dense tech lecture. We are really looking at the aesthetics and the real emotions of the future we are currently living in.
Yeah, the human element.
Exactly. Yeah. So let's start with the visual side. Apple TV Plus is finally, and I mean finally, releasing a 10-episode adaptation of Neuromancer in late 2026.
It's been a long time coming.
So long. And the marketing team clearly knows exactly how protected this fan base is because they dropped the teaser trailer on July 6th, 2026.
Which is precisely the 42nd anniversary of the book's original publication.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that is a very deliberate signal to the audience. It basically says, we respect the sacred texts.
And they're backing that up with serious scale, too.
Right.
I mean, creator Graham Rowland and director J.D. Dillard are spearheading this whole thing under Paramount Skydance.
Heavy hitters.
For sure. So we are following a damaged super hacker named Case, played by Callum Turner, and Molly, who is this lethal razor girl assassin played by Brianna Middleton.
Right, the quintessential marginalized anti-heroes. You've got the ruined brain and the augmented muscle.
Yeah, that dynamic is so good. And they're enlisted by this shadowy, godlike artificial intelligence to pull off a massive heist against a secretive corporate dynasty.
Classic cyberpunk setup.
Oh, yeah. And we're talking a stacked ensemble cast here. Mark Strong as Armitage, Clémence Poésy as Lady 3 Jane, Peter Sarsgaard as John Ashpool.
That's a lot of talent.
It is. And they aren't just shooting this on a green screen in Burbank either. The sources note they actually filmed across Tokyo, Istanbul, Los Angeles, and London.
Which is functionally required, honestly. You really cannot fake the crushing, claustrophobic weight of a global corporate megalopolis.
Yeah, you need the real thing.
Exactly. You need the physical texture of massive overlapping cities to convey that kind of architectural oppression.
I get that, but here is where I kind of have to push back on the ambition of this whole project. Because for 4 decades, Hollywood has basically thrown its hands up and called this book notoriously unfilmable.
Oh, yeah. It was the ultimate cursed project.
Right. Trying to adapt Gibson's concept of cyberspace feels a bit like trying to film the architecture of the internet itself. I mean, he wasn't writing about spaceships. He was writing about data.
Abstract data, yeah.
So how do you visualize a firewall without making it look like a cheesy 1990s video game? Why did it take 40 years for someone to finally crack the code?
Well, it wasn't just a VFX problem. It was really a psychological problem. You have to put yourself in the mindset of a reader in 1984.
Okay.
When Gibson coined the term cyberspace, computers were still these beige boxes with glowing green text.
Right, super primitive.
So the idea of a global, interconnected digital matrix, omnipotent megacorporations, and AI pulling the strings, that was wildly abstract to people.
It sounded like magic.
Pretty much. It was pure, impenetrable fantasy. Directors couldn't film it because audiences just didn't have the visual vocabulary to understand it yet.
Huh. So what changed then? Why is it filmable now?
Because we live inside it.
Ah.
You, me, the listener, we all literally carry the matrix in our pockets. We live under the umbrella of massive tech conglomerates that track our every move.
That's true.
So the core visual language of cyberpunk, The isolation in crowded spaces, the glow of screens in a dark room, the constant algorithmic surveillance, none of that requires explanation anymore.
It's just our daily life.
Exactly. It's no longer abstract fantasy. The director doesn't have to explain what it feels like to be overwhelmed by data because the audience already feels it every single day.
That makes a lot of sense. So they don't really have to build the world from scratch. They just have to hold up a slightly distorted mirror to our own reality.
Yes, precisely.
Which actually brings up a crucial question.
Yeah.
If Apple TV Plus is finally giving us the visual reality of Gibson's world, what happens when you close the screen? Because that digital exhaustion you just mentioned, there's an entire audio ecosystem built to process that exact feeling.
Yes. And it fundamentally changes how we interact with technology. This brings us right to Wartonno's essay on cyberpunk ambient music and his specific project, Neon Ghost Frequencies.
Right. Now, anyone who follows the sci-fi genre is probably pretty familiar with synthwave.
Oh yeah, the neon grid lines and drum machines.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But our sources make a very deliberate, hard line in the sand here. Cyberpunk ambient is not synthwave.
Not even close. I mean, if synthwave is the adrenaline rush of an idealized 1980s cyberpunk fantasy, cyberpunk ambient is the hangover of our 2020s reality.
Oh, I like that. Let's drill into that psychology.
Okay.
Because synthwave relies heavily on nostalgia. It's highly rhythmic. It's basically the sound of driving a fast car through a neon-soaked city at midnight, chasing something.
Right, it has momentum.
But cyberpunk ambient does not move forward. It hovers. Wartonno describes it as the exhausted mind after too much information.
It's a complete shift in narrative function. Synthwave asks you to participate in an action movie. But cyberpunk ambient, it asks you to sit alone in a cramped apartment above the city and just listen to the machines breathe. It's really all about stillness.
Wait, but if you strip away the drums, the driving rhythm, and any traditional pop hook, how does this actually function as music?
That's the million-dollar question.
Like, is this just a rebranded version of lo-fi beats to study to? If there is no rhythm pushing the track forward, aren't you basically just left with background noise?
I get why you'd think that. It's a common misconception, but Wartonno frames this in a completely different way. What's fascinating here is he refers to this music as emotional technology.
Yeah, emotional technology. Okay, I need you to unpack that for me.
Well, think about the physical toll of living in a hyper-connected world. Insomnia, overstimulation, that profound isolation you feel when you're surrounded by millions of people in a digital network.
The doom-scrolling burnout.
Exactly.
Right.
Your brain is constantly being pulled in 1,000 directions by notifications, emails, and news feeds. Rhythm and melody demand your attention. They say, follow this beat, anticipate this chord change.
So they actually require active listening.
Precisely. Cyberpunk ambient abandons that entirely. It is designed to hold you in the stillness of the aftermath. It gives you, the listener, a room to sit in.
Wow.
Yes, that room might be surrounded by humming servers and corporate surveillance, but it is a sanctuary for a mind that cannot process one more piece of active data. It doesn't demand your attention. It just keeps you company in the dark.
Okay, I love the philosophy there, but mechanically, how does a producer actually achieve that?
Sound design.
Right. But if you aren't using a drum kit or a lead guitar, what exact sonic ingredients are you using to build a sanctuary? You can't just record a blank tape and call it ambient music.
No, of course not. You build it entirely through texture and sound behavior.
Okay, let's walk the listener through the specific palette detailed in the essay because it is fascinating. The first ingredient he mentions is something called unstable paths.
Yes.
And specifically, Wartonno points to something called brackish pads.
This is the absolute emotional foundation. Because in traditional ambient music, say, a meditation track, the synthesizer pads are usually very clean, glossy, and heavenly. They sound perfect.
Right, very smooth and calming.
Exactly. But cyberpunk ambient actively rejects perfection.
Yeah, the essay says they need to carry signal damage and uneasy warmth. The quote that really stood out to me was, "It's technology with fingerprints on it."
Such a great line.
But what does that actually mean inside a digital audio workstation? How do you give a sound a fingerprint?
By introducing failure.
Yeah.
So producers will take a beautiful, perfectly clean chord and run it through algorithms that mimic old, broken tape machines.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, they introduce wow and flutter, which is literally the sound of physical tape warbling as it spins unsteadily.
I know exactly that sound.
Right. Or they might use bit crushing to degrade the digital resolution or pitch modulation so the harmony slowly drifts out of tune and then warbles back in.
So it sounds broken.
It simulates frayed wiring, yeah. It tells the listener's subconscious, this technology is tired, It has been used, abused, and just left out in the rain.
Speaking of rain, that is the second crucial ingredient, rain and urban ambience.
Essential.
And I actually love the reasoning here, because if you just have a warbling, degraded synthesizer, the sound is just too sterile. Rain introduces a physical weather system. It roots you.
It completely grounds the abstraction. Without the rain, you are just floating in a random digital void. But the rain puts you sitting near a window. It instantly makes the sound human and deeply melancholic.
Yeah. And then you combine that with the third layer, which is soft industrial noise and low drones. We are talking about the hum of server fans, air vents, maybe distant transformers.
This is all about psychological scale.
Expand on that. How does an air vent create scale?
It basically comes down to physics. Low-frequency drones, those deep sub-bass rumbles that you feel in your chest more than you actually hear them, they require massive physical space to bounce around in reality.
Oh, right, like a huge empty factory.
Exactly. So when a producer layers a low, oppressive hum under the track, they are tricking your brain's spatial awareness. It suggests you aren't just in a small room.
You're somewhere huge.
Right. You are sitting in the shadow of a monolithic corporate tower, or you are buried deep in some subterranean machine level. It creates this feeling of immense architectural weight pressing down on you.
That is incredible. And the final touch is what Wartonno calls broken melodic fragments. Just a few isolated notes, maybe on a piano, that never actually resolve into a full song.
Yeah, very sparse.
They feel like partial, unreliable memories just bubbling up and then sinking back into the noise. But, looking at this whole recipe, degraded pads, rain, heavy sub-bass drones, broken notes, I have to be honest, it sounds less like a song and more like a digital haunted house.
I love that.
Like, are these artists essentially trying to make you feel like you live inside an overworked hard drive?
A digital haunted house is actually the perfect way to look at it, because if we connect this to the bigger picture, texture entirely replaces melody here as the communication tool.
Right.
That degraded pad, that is the weather inside the house. The low drone, that is the physical architecture of the floorboards. The music isn't trying to tell you a linear story, it's letting an environment exist around you.
Which makes perfect sense for deep focus. Because if you are reading or, writing code at 2 a.m., a catchy chorus would completely rip you out of your workflow. But a digital haunted house just exists alongside you.
It acts as an acoustic anchor.
Yeah. But, the haunted house analogy leads me directly back to Neuromancer. In the plot of the Apple TV Plus series, the entire heist is orchestrated by an artificial intelligence. AI is the puppet master.
The unseen hand.
Right. And in the music genre, Wartonno argues that AI acts as the ultimate ghost in these soundscapes.
It is arguably the most potent emotional symbol in the entire cyberpunk aesthetic.
But the execution is what really surprises me. Because when we normally think of AI in movies or pop culture, it's almost always aggressive. It's a robotic voice, it's cold calculating math, it's aggressive beeping machinery.
The Terminator.
Exactly. But this music genre completely avoids that. Instead, AI is represented with these glassy textures that feel uncomfortably organic.
Yeah.
They use human voices that have been stretched so far beyond recognition that they basically become environmental noise.
They are actively fighting the cliche. They don't want you to think, oh, here comes the robot.
So let's look at how Wartonno applies this in his first track for the Neon Ghost Frequencies project, which is titled After the System Broke.
Such a mood.
Totally. The focus here is on a deeply human trope, the burned out hacker. We aren't looking at an action hero typing furiously while bullets fly. It's the hacker sitting in the cold glow of an empty monitor after the entire system has failed.
Right.
They're just sitting in the quiet, genuinely wondering if they've escaped the signal or just dissolved into it.
It is a moment of profound existential dread, but also kind of a strange surrender.
Okay, here's where it gets really interesting, and I need you to connect these dots for me. Why does this genre treat AI like a ghost story? Artificial intelligence is literally just code. It's math.
True.
So how does taking a vocal sample and stretching it out for 2 minutes convey the presence of an AI?
It all comes down to the uncanny valley of presence. Think about the AI in Neuromancer. It isn't a robot walking around in a clunky metal suit.
No.
It is an intelligence without a physical body. It can be everywhere in the network simultaneously and nowhere at all. It can watch you without having eyes, it has memories, but it doesn't actually have a human brain.
Right, it's completely formless.
Exactly. And historically, how does the human mind process the sensation of a formless, invisible intelligence watching them?
Oh. A ghost.
A ghost. So when a sound artist takes a human voice, say just a 2-second vocal sample, and uses a digital process to stretch it into a 2-minute-long drone, they are stripping away the breath. They are removing the biology, but keeping the human pitch. And when you reverse a texture, it moves backward in time, completely defying the laws of physics.
So it sounds human, but it behaves in a way biology simply can't.
Precisely. The goal isn't to sound mechanical. The goal is to make the hair on the back of your neck stand up. It's designed to make you feel that something else is in the room with you.
That's eerie.
It is listening, it completely understands you, but it isn't breathing.
That is absolutely chilling and, brilliant, because it perfectly bridges that gap between human emotion and machine signal. It traps you in this liminal space where you literally cannot tell where the human ends and the software begins.
Which is the core philosophical anxiety of Neuromancer, and honestly, the core anxiety of anyone looking at the rapid advancement of technology today.
Seriously. Well, we've covered a massive amount of ground today, transitioning from global Hollywood productions to incredibly intimate underground sound design. So let's tie this all together for the listener.
Sounds good.
We started with the sheer visual spectacle coming from Apple TV plus Doria's Neuromancer. We are finally going to see William Gibson's 1984 vision of razor girls, brunned-out hackers, and omnipotent AI brought to life.
And we noted that the reason it's finally adaptable is because that vision has transitioned from pure sci-fi fantasy into our daily reality.
Exactly. And from there, we dove into the psychological audio landscape of Wartonno's neon ghost frequencies. We explored how cyberpunk ambient music abandons the driving nostalgic beats of synthwave.
Right.
Instead, it relies on degraded pads, industrial hums, and digital rain to build a sanctuary, basically a room for the exhausted modern mind to rest in.
It creates a physical space out of sound.
Which brings us to why you, the listener, should actually care about all this right now.
Yeah.
Because whether you are prepping for a stressful tech meeting, sitting down for a marathon coding session, or just feeling completely burned out by the endless glow of your phone, this genre offers a tool.
It really does.
It offers a unique way to find focus and quiet inside the digital noise, rather than trying in vain to pretend the noise doesn't exist. So what does this all mean? Where do we go from here?
I think it leaves us with a fascinating, almost paradoxical question. If our everyday reality is becoming completely indistinguishable from a 1980s cyberpunk novel, complete with omnipotent mega corporations, ubiquitous AI, and profound digital burnout, what happens to the genre?
Wait, you think it stops being science fiction?
I do.
Yeah.
As we move into the 2030s and beyond, will cyberpunk ambient eventually lose its sci-fi label entirely? Think about it. Will future generations look back and simply consider the sound of humming server farms, digital rain, and degraded synthesizers to be their traditional folk music?
Traditional folk music. That is wild.
I know.
But I kind of see it, because folk music has always been just the sound of working people processing their environment.
Exactly. Perhaps in 50 years, this won't be considered the sound of a dark sci-fi dystopia. It will just be recognized as the natural acoustic sound of human beings in the 21st century, doing whatever they can to find a moment of peace.
Now there is a thought to keep you up tonight. Or maybe it's exactly the thought you need to finally turn off the screen, listen to the hum of the fridge, and just be still. Thank you so much for joining us on this deep dive. We'll be right back here next time, ready to unpack the next big idea. Stay curious.
Thanks for tuning in. Don't forget to subscribe wherever you get your podcasts. We'll be back next week with another episode.